Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to draft a palazzo trouser like a pro. If this is a content you're interested in watching, please keep watching and don't forget to like, share, comment and also subscribe to my channel. Let's dive into it. So moving on, these are the material needed for the palazzo trouser. We have the two scissors. So I'm going to tell you in the video why we'll be needing two scissors. Then we have the pattern paper, the ruler and the marker, and also the tape. So let's move on into drafting. So on this pattern paper, you're going to be measuring from your waistline to your hip region, which is starting from your waist to your hip region, which we have 9 inches, and we also have to the crotch region, which is 11, and also to the knee length, which is 23 inches. You could measure your own depending on where your knee is. So you also measure your waistline to the full length, but this pattern paper is so short for the full length, so we are going to be just managing what we have. So after drafting, we are going to now place this pattern on the fabric itself. But moving on, we rule out a straight line on all of the lines and then move on to measuring the full length to calculate the measurements needed for the palazzo trouser. Here we have the waist of 30 inches and our hip of 42 divided by 4. We have 10.5. Then our crotch measurement is 42 divided by 16, which is our hip divided by 16 inches, which give us 2.6 something, but we actually approximated it to 3 inches. So it's going to be done on the pattern paper, so you can understand very well on how to go about it. So moving on, we'll now start by imputing our hip measurement, which is 42 divided by 4. We have 10.5. You make sure that you mark out all the parameters needed for it. So we're going to now start by also inputting the hip measurement, which is 42 divided by 4 on that hip side, and on the crotch region we'll also measure the hip measurement, which is 10.5, then adding our crotch measurement, which is that hip divided by 16, then we have that 2.6. So we later approximated it to, so don't mind my video, we later approximated it to 3. So on the crotch region we actually use 3 at last. So moving on, so from there we're going to measure from our crotch to our thigh level. For here, our crotch to our thigh is 3 inches. That's the difference between our crotch to our thigh level. So our thigh is actually 28 inches. So we'll mark out 28 divided by 4. We have 14 inches on this part. Then the full length on how we want the palazzo to get big, we actually measured it on our knee, on our ankle. You measure how big you want the palazzo to look. So on there we have 22 inches. Then 22 inches divided by 2, we have 11 inches. So we input 11 inches on the pattern like this on both the knee length and the full length on the ankle side. That is what we did. So then we connect all the lines together like this. So we are now going to move ahead to the waist region. So on the waistline, we are going to now move ahead to measure that measurement, which is from this side to the other side. We have 4 inches onto the left side. Then to go down, we measure 4 inches too, and then connect a straight line to it like this. And on the two sides, we measure ½ inch on the two sides, then connect it to the straight line like this. So we are going to now move on to measuring the normal waist measurement, which is 30 divided by 4. Then we have 7.5, then 1 inch for that allowance. So then we're going to now connect the line back to the hip region. So after that, we'll now start cutting our fabric, our pattern, and then this is where the scissors that will be needed, those two scissors that we actually put down, we're going to talk about it. So these scissors, the scissors you use for your pattern drafting, is actually different from the one you're going to use for the fabric. All because if you're using the same scissors, it's going to make your scissors blunt. So we'll move on to the back pattern. You're going to place the front pattern on the back pattern and rule out all the necessary lines, which is the hip region, the hip line, the thigh, the crotch line, and then the knee length, and also the full length. So moving on, we are going to now minus 2 inches on the upper part of the front region backwardly, and then mark it out. Then you will move up by 1.5 inches. This is for the bum, so it can carry the bum. So move ahead to the crotch region. We measure 2 inches on that side. We'll go down by 0.75 inches. Then we now move on to, from there we measure the full length of our waist region. We put our ruler, our tape, to measure the full length, which we there have 8.5 inches in total. So we are going to now move ahead to connecting the line to the crotch region. So you have to trace it down to the crotch region as we are doing like this. So after tracing it to the crotch region, we are now going to move ahead to connecting all the lines, connecting the back pattern to the front pattern. Then on the thigh region, we're going to measure 2 inches, and then on the knee length measure 1.5, and on the full length we measure 1.5. Then after then we move ahead to connecting these all lines together. As you can see, we can use our ruler to connect all the lines, and we'll connect that hip side, we'll connect the waist area on the back pattern to the hip area on the front pattern. So that is how we are going to now move ahead to joining all the lines together like this. So mind you, we said 2 inches on the crotch and thigh region, and 1.5 on the knee region and on the ankle region. So this is now, this I've brought back to the way we make our back pattern. So moving on, we are going to now start by imputing the zipper allowance, which is 1.5 inches, down to the length at which we want the zip to get to, which is 8 inches. We'll measure 1.5 inches on those sides just to have a zipper allowance. So we connect a straight line to it like this, just for it to be able to hold our bum. So move ahead to measuring the dart length, but before then we're going to cut out this pattern before imputing the dart on this back pattern. After cutting out this pattern, and mind you, when I said the scissors you're using for the back for the pattern drafting is different from the scissors you are going to be using for the fabric itself. So on the ankle length, we actually measure 22 inches, which is what we had here. Then we're now going to place all this pattern on the fabric to cut it out. So the same that measurement that we use for the front, which is 4, but on the back side is different. You go down by 5 inches because the dart at the back is actually bigger than the longer than that at the front. So we'll measure 1/2 inch on both sides, then connect them to the straight line like this. So we're going to now use this pattern to cut out the fabric itself like this. So on cutting out this fabric, mind you, when cutting out your fabric, you're going to check the pattern of your fabric, where it's facing, whether it's facing down or it's facing up. So this has already been checked. That is why the flower on the pattern is facing up, though some are facing the down part, but this is actually the best way to cut out this pattern. So we're going to now place on this pattern paper on the front, on the fabric itself like this, and pin it down. So when cutting this, you make sure that you had 2 inches for the sewing allowance for both the two sides. So this will help to hold help the palazzo to have allowance, just in case there is a little bit of the fabric being tight. So this is what we do: pin it down, then move ahead to cutting it. And on this point, don't forget that you're going to be measuring your full length of your fabric, the full length that you're supposed to be using, which is 40 inches. So on this point, we are going to be adding extra 2 inches for it, so that it will be for the folding. So this is where we measured, and we start by cutting it. Point, you can see that after cutting out, we fold it and kept it aside. So on Adiba's back pattern, so it doesn't really tail on the pattern because it's actually at the back, but because this fabric is actually a fine one, and it's a chiffon material, so you actually need to be careful while cutting it. So you can see that the scissors we used for the pattern is actually different from the scissors used for the drafting for the fabric itself. So we're now going to place the same way we place the front pattern on this. We're going to place the same pattern on this one, the same back pattern on this, and actually had extra 2 inches allowance to it to the back also. So thank you all for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. See you on my next video. Bye.